Hello, my name is Nick Thaman, and I've been unemployed for the last 48 days, and in the week since, me and my roommates have been watching a movie every single night. Genre or year really doesn't matter. Recently we watched Akira Kurosawa's 1961 samurai film Yojimbo. It follows a wandering samurai as he attempts to instigate a feud between two rivaling families for his own personal gain. On the surface, an old black and white foreign film like Yojimbo might seem a bit daunting, but there's absolutely nothing to worry about because Yojimbo rips. It's genuinely funny, thrilling, and features an incredible cast of memorable characters. Its lead actor, Toshiro Mifune, displays an unbelievable range. He can pull off badass, pathetic, comedic, all perfectly. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. He's my GOAT. And he's killing it in this movie. He's also killing people with a sword, which is how most people end up dead in samurai movies. Except, of course, the ones who get shot to death because of the one guy who actually figured out guns were better and uses them the whole movie and is super OP. Yojimbo's host to a plethora of memorable characters, which help distract from the pretty convoluted plot. While watching the movie, we spent about half the time trying to figure out who was named what, which character was a part of which faction, why our hero was double-crossing who, for what reason. The other half was spent talking about how cool Toshiro Mifune is. Yojimbo received enough critical and commercial success in Japan to warrant an international release, where it continued to see praise overseas, even netting an Academy Award for Best Costumes. Eventually, Yojimbo made its way to Italy, home to fledgling director Sergio Leone, who had just come off directing his debut feature film. This is the director who a year later would redefine the Western genre with A Fistful of Dollars, starring an up-and-coming Clint Eastwood. It made its fair share at the box office, becoming, at the time, Italy's highest-grossing film. But more importantly, A Fistful of Dollars established the spaghetti western subgenre, a subgenre which would launch Leone and Eastwood's careers into the stratosphere, leading to some of the most influential movies in all of cinema. It is a one-to-one ripoff of Yojimbo. I'm talking beat for beat. If it happened in Yojimbo, it happened in A Fistful of Dollars. Feuding crime families, a nameless stranger. It ends in a showdown. The hero outsmarts the OP villain, fights a group of guys at once to save his bartender friend who'd been kidnapped for harboring the stranger after betraying one of the families because he double-crossed them to reunite a different young family, and there was a whole thing with a hostage ordeal, and the kid yelled and the mom freaked out. They were sued for plagiarism. Signor Leone, I've just had the chance to see your film. It is a very fine film, but it is my film. That's Kurosawa and his letter threatening litigation against Leone. Obviously, this is a very serious deal and requires extreme delicacy. Apparently, Sergio Leone didn't pick up on that and just thought it was really cool that Akira Kurosawa said his movie was good. His lawyers found out quickly because he kept showing the letter off to people. And by the following year, the matter was settled out of court. It guaranteed Kurosawa 15% of the movie's total box office earnings. While A Fistful of Dollars has been re-released for home video countless times at this point, Yojimbo's writers have never seen proper credit. Leone's defense in court was that he was inspired by multiple different sources, with Yojimbo just being one of them. Another of the cited sources was American crime noir novel Red Harvest, which also maybe inspired Yojimbo's story, so really, if you look at it like that, he's bringing it full circle and plagiarism is okay, actually. Yeah, so that's bullshit, obviously. And it's since been widely accepted that A Fistful of Dollars is an unofficial and unlicensed remake of Yojimbo. Since you can pretty much draw a straight line from Leone's career bump back to Yojimbo, various conflicting stories have emerged from friends of Leone as to who actually introduced him to Yojimbo, which is, I find really funny because it's like, now we care about credit. Ultimately, how it happened isn't important. The fact of the matter is, A Fistful of Dollars is an unofficial and unlicensed remake of Yojimbo. And going into Fistful with that knowledge, I was fully expecting a shittier bootleg version of Yojimbo set as a Western. What I was not expecting was for it to actually be really good, and for totally different reasons than Yojimbo. Yojimbo's fantastic because of its incredible cast, memorable characters, timeless humor, all of this wrapped in an intelligent, morally gray narrative. no pun intended, because it's black and white. I liked the camera work, and there are some really cool decisions being made at times, but it definitely feels like it's taking a backseat to let the actors perform and the narrative unfold. A Fistful of Dollars is way more about spectacle. Factions are simplified to the good one and the bad one. The bad one, of course, being the only people of color in the film. Toshiro Mifune's performance does laps around Eastwood's stiff, tough guy act, and the rest of Fistfuls isn't any better. Overall, the characters are pretty forgettable, with the only two real players being the cool hero and raging psychopath. The movie also takes itself way more seriously. It strips all the humor from the original narrative, and it ditches Yojimbo's jazzy Latin sound for this over-the-top, operatic Western symphony, which goes very hard sometimes. Official or not, A Fistful of Dollars is a pretty bad remake. But it is a dope Western. What Sergio Leone lacked in substance, he made up for in style. Watering down Yojimbo's plot certainly hinders the movie in some regards, but it allows Leone to show off. Standoffs are painfully drawn out, going from one close-up to another, wringing out as much tension as possible before the inevitable flurry of cuts and gunfire. Their solution to the gun guy from Yojimbo is just a guy with a bigger gun who draws pictures with bullets to show how cool he is. A Fistful of Dollars is cheesy in all the right ways. So all this begs the question, was plagiarism even necessary? Judging from the talent involved, the movie probably still would have been a big hit with an original screenplay. But the reality is, it's not an original screenplay. Sergio Leone hit a lick on Akira Kurosawa and ended up making one of the most influential westerns of all time. And it sucks that proper credit's never been given. They are two movies telling the same story by two very skilled directors. My knee-jerk reaction was to pit them against one another. Style versus substance, who comes out on top? But I don't think that's fair. Like I said earlier, A Fistful of Dollars is extremely different from Yojimbo. Yes, they share a lot of similarities, but I think trying to pit them against each other is really an apples and oranges type scenario. Sergio Leone took an apple and made an orange. An apple-shaped orange.
Abayo. So long.